Good morning, everybody. It's Chris here from Serene Education with the 4 Majors Notice Update for the 26th of July 2011. Just looking at our 4 majors this morning on our CTC strategy. Let's have a look at the daily for Euro. As you can see, during the evening or the Asian market session trading, we've seen Euro jump up to the upside. Yesterday we saw price trading slightly lower than the previous, so going into almost a pattern formation. Price action still happening at the top end of the wick. And as of this morning, we saw price rally, so the US dollar not having a great evening on the Asian session, and we've seen price move now 100% of the initial move. So this move here that we saw, the actual bottom of this, the start of this uptrend, we saw a pullback, and this next part over here was the 100% move. This bullish candle here to the upside just failed to make the 100% mark. However, this candle here is literally punched through it, punched through the downline, and as it keeps up, if it can stick above the 14,500 mark, there we're definitely looking at potential further upside movements. It's on its way now. It's roughly the prior swing at 1455. Then we have the 161 would be our next target, which would take it purely almost back up to prior highs at 14,700 to start with. So as things stand, if Euro can stay above the 14,500 mark to start with, then ideally above the prior ceiling level here at 14,55, then we're looking for further extensions higher. This intermediate trend is now in play, so it could get a bit choppy in this area. But once it's in that clear space, then we're looking at roughly the 1475 or 14800 mark as our next possible target. Next up is sterling against US dollar. Here again, we've also seen a slight move to the upside after 2 consecutive days of downside movement after a very bullish uptrend. Here again, we can see that we had a movement, an upside movement just around price support, roughly around the 5,900 mark. Price failed to rally any lower, and we had this indecision doji, but we had a lot more price action at the top end of the wick, and the next following candle was a massive bullish engulfing, which engulfed the entire week's worth of consolidation, and then we saw price revert and then bounce to the upside. This move here, if I just take it, you can see the extension now. This prime move, we had a pullback. This extension now 100% at 16,4100 is still on. If cable can continue to the upside, then we can see that as our first potential target. Break and close higher than that would look at the 161.8 fib as our next potential target, which would take us back up to the highs that we saw back in early May. So extension wise, you can see the intermediate trend to the upside here. Notice we're gaining a bit of strength and it bounced higher. So as long as it can stay above this intermediate trend to the upside, we're still looking for further longs for cable. And the 16,4100 would be our first initial target for this pair. You can see that the price over here, for example, this pair has broken through after a bit of consolidation here on this downtrend here. CTC went red for a while. However, we have our blue arrow, blue bars, blue candles on CTC, so we are looking for upside movement now. And the longer the US takes to thrash out a deal on their problems with debt ceilings, then we're going to see the other currencies actually gaining ground against it. So look for an opportunity to gain entry as long as price can stay above the prior ceiling level. Yeah, this 2 days of resistance. So above that level there. So 1630. We're looking at here 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1633 or stay above 1640. Then we're looking for further extensions, at least to the 100. Then 161.8. Next up is US Swiss franc. Here again, we know that the US dollar has lost a lot of ground against the Swiss franc over the past year or so, and sure enough, you can see that on the chart. CTC is well extended to the downside, and you can see that the trend line is well extended, trading below all the moving averages, and along the way we've broken through price support and resistance levels. So what next for this pair? Well, we've seen a break just recently of consolidation area. We had 3 days of indecision, then a hammer, and then we saw price revert to the upside, smack it to the underside, and then we see price fall lower. It's trading lower than this small break, and you can see this was a bearish engulfing, similar to this one over here. So we're looking for further extensions lower, and as long as I mentioned before, as long as price the US is failing to come up with some sort of agreement amongst themselves on how to tackle the debt issue, we're going to see franc, or heavily investing on franc as a safe haven currency, and the US dollar falling because of that. Last pair of the day is the US dollar against Japanese yen. As with the Swiss franc, you can see that the US dollar is also losing a lot of ground against this pair. Okay, the Japanese yen and the US dollar Japanese yen has seen lower lows as price has broken this prior support and resistance level. There's quite the strong one at 80, which we saw price literally trading along for a number of months now. But you'll notice that the highs were getting lower in this consolidation trend, and then we had a breakout, a massive bearish engulfing, which I mentioned everybody needed to see. Almost a week of consolidation, and then we've seen further progression to the downside. Slight consolidation the past 2 days, and we've seen the US dollar trading lower in the Asian session last night. So almost a squeeze, and then you can see the highs dictating trend direction. You can see now the swings are quite close, and this momentum drive is very, very shallow. So if you could possibly look at that as the extension, we're now just broken through 38.2%. We've got 50%, 61, and 100 here, roughly down at the 75, 30 mark to go. So as things stand, there could be still further progression. Notice that we saw price trading around about the 77.1 mark not too long ago. So think about that. The extension was looking at 100% of the initial move to give us that indication of where price is likely to go to. We've got 50% coming up. The 61.8 would be our next, and the 100%. That's it, guys. Hope you have a fantastic trading day. Make sure that you trade in the direction of the trend. So look at where price is trading on a daily time frame, and that will give you an indication of where you should be looking for price. You need to be trading price in the same direction as the daily trend. So look for pullbacks if you haven't got into any of these trades yet, and then look for consolidation breakouts, and then trade those breakouts. Look at possible targets. We know that 50% would be the next one on this particular pair. So look at your entry and where this potential target is, to see if there's enough in it to warrant getting into it. If not, then wait for the break of that, and then look for the next available entry. Make sure your money management is spot on. It's great having it's fantastic having a template that helps you, or a strategy that helps you, but if you don't back it up with sound money management, it's worth nothing. So just be aware of that. And most importantly, just keep your trading simple. Look for support, resistance levels, break out of those trend lines or box formations, squeezes, like here's the case, and just look for your entry and work out your target and stop levels. Keep it simple, and most importantly, trade serenely.